Yeah, he finally got cool.
Can you at least give the spelling of the last name of your next witness?
Sure, F-U-L-T-D.
Thank you.
Okay, good look, I'll see where it's at. See what I can do.
Prosecutor, you're your next witness.
Thank you. The people would call Police Officer Stephen Phelps.
Put your hands up, young man. Somebody else.
Sorry, I have to start it here, so let me get in. I had to go this way around because I had a lot of time at the other end, right?
Hey, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You may be seated. Please pull the microphone all the way in. Speak loudly at all times so that I'm able to hear everything you're saying on today.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Good afternoon, sir. Could you tell me your name, please?
Stephen Foltz,
And how are you employed?
police officer with the City of Detroit.
How long have you been a police officer for?
Approximately 4 years.
And where were you assigned back on June 24th, 2015?
5th Precinct, Special Operations.
And today here in court, you've come wearing a police uniform, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Back on June 24th, 2015, were you wearing something similar or something different?
I was wearing a modified Special Operations uniform that consisted of green cargo pants and a black t-shirt stating police on the front and back.
And were you working alone or with a partner?
I had 2 partners,
Your partner's names?
Officer Billingsley and Officer Patterson.
And what was your assignment that day?
This routine patrol.
And when you're on routine patrol, you indicated that you were in a modified uniform. What did your scout car look like?
It was a fully marked 2004 Crown Vic.
I'm going to show you what's been admitted as people exhibit number 11. Let's see if to show you what's been admitted as people's exhibit number 11U. Can you see the monitor from where you are?
No, ma'am.
Okay, maybe you need to turn.
Do you recognize people's exhibit 11U?
Yes, ma'am.
What is that?
That's the scout card that I was using that day.
And you've indicated that you were working with 2 other police officers, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your position within this scout car?
I was the front passenger.
And back on June 24th, 2015, did you see something that brings you here to court today?
Yes, I did.
What did you see?
I observed a red Chevy Camaro, late model, cross in front of me in an intersection.
When that vehicle crossed in front of you at the intersection, what, if anything, did you observe as it relates to the driver?
I observed a black semi-automatic handgun in the, I believe it was the right hand of the driver.
And having seen that, what, if anything, did you do as it relates to your partners?
I immediately notified my partners of what I observed.
What happens at that point?
We made a right turn to position our scout car behind the Camaro to effect a traffic stop.
And when you say to effect a traffic stop, were there any visible signs of effecting that traffic stop?
At that time, no. A few seconds later, we activated our lights and sirens.
Lights are visible?
Yes.
Are they the overhead lights?
Yes.
And you indicated that the siren was on as well?
Yes.
And is that an audible, something that you can hear?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you, or did you actually activate lights and sirens, or did somebody else within the car?
The driver.
And who was the driver?
Officer Billingsley.
And once Officer Billingsley activated the lights and sirens, did the vehicle pull over?
No, it did not.
And you indicated, I'm sorry, could you tell me once again what type of vehicle it was that you were trying to pull over?
It's a red Chevy Camaro.
And when the vehicle did not pull over, what happened next?
The red Chevy Camaro accelerated at a high rate of speed.
Approximately how fast did the scout car go, if you know?
At that time, it was probably between, probably approximately 35.
Do you know what the posted speed limit is over in that area?
25.
And do you know how fast or what the maximum speed was that your vehicle was traveling at, if you know?
Approximately 50.
How do you know it was going about 50 miles an hour?
It's a 2004 Crown Vic. It's an old car. It needs a lot of repairs. So we keep the speeds low for safety reasons.
Now, at some point, were you on Nottingham Street?
Yes.
And are you able to make observations of that Chevy Camaro on Nottingham?
Yes.
Approximately how far away is the Chevy Camaro from your scout car at any given time?
I'd say at least a block, a long block.
And can you describe for me, if you would, Warren Avenue? Does it bisect or go across Nottingham?
Yes, it does.
And do you remember approximately what time of day this was?
Approximately 7:45.
In the morning or in the evening?
In the evening.
And can you tell me, or do you know what the traffic was like on Warren at the time that you're out there that evening?
Say medium to heavy.
And did any point in time were you able to see if there were brakes applied in the Camaro?
I did not see any brake lights from the vehicle at that time.
Okay, what happens at that point? Let me ask you this. Did the vehicle ever come to a stop at Warren and Nottingham?
No, it did not.
Is there a stop sign for traffic that would be going northbound on Nottingham to cross Warren?
Yes.
And what happens next?
The red Chevy Camaro continued northbound at Nottingham, crossed over Warren at a high rate of speed. I'd say at least 100 miles an hour. We were a good block to maybe a block and a half away from it.
What's happening in the car at that point as it relates to this pursuit?
Well, when I saw it cross over Warren, I notified my partners that he's out of control. We need to slow it down. We need to stop. And as we approached Warren, I was getting ready to turn off the lights and sirens just to stop the chase. At that point, I observed a large, like a cloud of dirt in the air. In my experience, I believe that he crashed, lost control.
What happened then?
We continued northbound on Nottingham, crossed over Warren.
Keep your voice up on the officer.
Yes, ma'am. And came to the intersection of Frankfurt and Nottingham.
What, if anything, did you see in the intersection of Frankfurt and Nottingham? You know, I'm just going to stop for just 1 second, Judge, if I can have just 1 second.
Sure.
Now, you indicated that you're in your scout car at this point, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're approaching Nottingham at Frankfurt, is that right?
Yes.
What, if anything, do you see in the street on Nottingham?
Directly in the middle of the street, there was a small child laying motionless.
What, if anything, did you do at that point?
We were still approaching. Then I observed another child, small child, to my left, laying across the curb.
What happens then?
We stopped the vehicle. As I'm jumping out of the vehicle and approaching the child that was in the middle of the street, I contacted dispatch, ordered EMS. As I approached, I believe her name was Makiah, the girl that was in the middle of the street, I observed, I believe it was her left arm and her left leg were broken.
What did you do at that point?
She was laying on her right side, so I carefully laid her on her back, tried to get a pulse,
Were you able to
feel for a
establish?
pulse. She was not breathing. There was no pulse. Immediately started CPR.
What happens then?
I continued CPR. Another scout car pulled up. I believe it was Scout 930. I picked up Makiah, placed her in the back of Scout 930's vehicle, and we took off to St. John Hospital.
Now, are you in the back seat with Makiah?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm still trying to get a pulse and doing CPR.
Did you ever notice anything in her mouth?
She had a green piece of candy in her mouth. I removed that, hoping that it was blocking her airway. Continued CPR. Still couldn't get a pulse, couldn't get her to breathe.
What happened then?
Finally made it to St. John, carried her into the ER, placed her on a table. The doctor immediately said that there's nothing that he could do about it, that she suffered from a broken neck.
Nothing further.
Cross-examination.
Officer, at some point, right back, you had indicated that you saw a vehicle going past you while you were at an intersection. Where were you at when you first noticed the Camaro?
As I was approaching the intersection, I observed the Camaro cross in front of us.
What intersection was that, officer?
That was at Devonshire and Cornwall.
When the vehicle went past that intersection, how close to you, how close to the intersection were you? as you were approaching, is what I'm trying to get at.
Approximately 10 feet from the stop sign.
When the vehicle went past you, it was going on what street? Driving on what street?
It's going Cornwall. Cornwall.
When you saw the vehicle go past you on Cornwall, did it appear to be driving at the appropriate rate of speed?
At that time, yes.
When you saw the vehicle go in front of you, were you looking at the passenger side or the driver's side of the vehicle?
I was trying to maintain a visual on both of the occupants of the vehicle.
As the vehicle went in front of you, sir, were you looking at the passenger side or the driver's side of that vehicle?
Passenger side.
Did you make any observations before you made the right-hand turn onto that street? Did you make any observations of the occupants of the vehicle as it crossed through the intersection?
Yes.
What did you see?
I observed a black handgun in the hand of the driver. Right hand of the driver.
Now, a moment ago, you described that weapon, didn't you?
Yes.
And you're telling me it was in the right hand, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall testifying, prosecuting attorney asking you and you making reference to something about, I think it was in the right hand or something to that effect? Did you use that phrase?
I may have.
Well, now, officer, was the gun in the right hand or not?
Yes.
Then why would you say, I think it was in the right hand, if you know it was in fact in the right hand?
Objection, argumentative.
Really?
I'll allow it. Answer the question. Why would you say it?
I misspoke.
Oh, you misspoke. Okay. So let's see. While the prosecutor was asking you about that gun and what hand it was in, you misspoke. And then when I asked you, you didn't misspoke. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
As we proceed, would you, well, no, that would be argumentative. I'll withdraw it. At some point, you then pull behind that vehicle, correct? That red Camaro.
Yes.
At the moment that you get behind it, after you make that right-hand turn, can you give us an approximation of the distance between your vehicle and the vehicle that you described as the red Camaro?
Approximately 20 to 25 feet.
Now, as that vehicle was going through that intersection, you would agree with me that you would have been about 50 feet away when you're making the observation of this gun.
No, sir.
Give me your estimation.
That's approximately 10 feet from the stop sign. The vehicle was in the right lane traveling. So it would have been probably maybe 25 feet.
Fine. And as this vehicle goes through that intersection, it'd be fair to say that you had a matter of seconds to make this observation of the weapon, correct?
A few seconds, yes.
Well, now, when I say few, I mean 3 seconds. How many seconds did you observe?
Approximately 3 seconds.
So, and what was the caliber of this weapon?
I do not know.
Were you able to look at it and tell that it was a semi-automatic weapon?
It appeared to be a semi-automatic.
And how did you come to that conclusion?
It didn't appear to be a revolver.
What did you were able to see the shape of the vehicle in those 3 seconds and distinguish it from a revolver to a semi-automatic weapon in 3 seconds?
Oh, the handgun, yes.
Okay. What color was it?
Black.
What was the person doing with it? Show the judge what the person was doing with that weapon in their hands in those 3 seconds that you made that observation. Demonstrate for us.
Driver had it in his right hand. He was just kind of moving it around like in his hand.
And you were able to see it through the windows
Yes.
of that vehicle?
Yes.
Are you sure the passenger didn't have a weapon?
Yes.
Okay. At which point you now get behind that vehicle, and would it be fair to say when you first get behind it, it's about a block away?
We're approximately 25 feet, 20 to 25 feet behind that vehicle.
Okay, fine. Now, as you're going down the street behind that vehicle, do you begin to accelerate the police vehicle, and now the police vehicle is exceeding the speed limit in that neighborhood?
At that time, no.
At some point, did you exceed the speed limit in that neighborhood?
Yes.
At some point, you would have estimated your speed to be going 50 miles an hour.
Yes.
And if you wasn't the police, it would be a violation of the law, wouldn't it?
Yes.
And if any private individual was going 50 miles an hour in a 25-mile-an-hour zone, would that be reckless driving?
Objection. That calls for a legal conclusion.
No, it doesn't. He's a police officer. He writes
You can answer
tickets
it.
every day.
Answer the question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. At some point, as you approach Warren, you say you were beginning to turn off the sirens, right?
Yes.
But you didn't, did you?
No, sir.
And as the vehicle continued to the point that you got to see the children in the street, your lights and sirens were on, correct?
Yes.
Do you know what it means to call off a chase?
Yes.
How do you do that?
Go over the district, channel 7 for 5th precinct, and notify dispatch.
What do you do with the lights and sirens when you call it off a chase?
When you call it off, you turn them off.
But you agree with me that from the moment that you turn those lights on until the moment that you stopped your vehicle, you were in pursuit of that vehicle?
Not the entire time.
Well, after you stopped, you were not, but up until that time,
Up until Warren.
up until Warren.
We were not pursuing that vehicle when we hit Warren.
Oh, I see. So you follow, you go in the same direction in which the vehicle is on, correct?
Correct.
Your lights and overhead sirens are on like they were before.
Correct.
What'd you do? Lower the speed down to 25 miles an hour or something?
Well, at that intersection, I believe it came to a stop.
What intersection was that?
Warren and Nottingham.
I'm sorry, where did you see the children? What intersection was
Nottingham and Frankfurt.
that? Okay, didn't you cross Warren?
Yes.
Weren't there lights and sirens on?
Yes.
Why did you cross Warren?
Because I saw a big cloud of dirt in the air,
So what?
and I knew that the vehicle crashed.
Oh, were you trying to go see what happened?
Absolutely.
Please tell me why you did not turn off your overhead lights and proceed in the same manner in which you did without your overhead lights and sirens being on.
At that time, that was the last thing in my mind.
Well, what was on your mind?
Well, when I saw the children laying in the road trying to save their life was the most important thing that I could
Before
do.
you saw the children in the road, before you crossed Warren, why didn't you turn off your overhead lights?
Heavy traffic so we could cross.
Okay, so then would it be fair to say that you turned on your overhead lights initially because you were trying to make a traffic stop, correct?
Yes.
That you didn't turn your overhead lights off as you were crossing Warren, not for the purpose of causing the defendant to stop, but so that you could get past Warren and that medium traffic, correct?
Yes.
Once you cross Warren, why didn't you turn your overhead lights out and sirens off at that point?
Because I saw the babies laying in the street.
Thank you, officer. At some point, you then see the children in the street. Did you notice any, did you notice where the vehicle, the red Camaro, was at in relationship to the children in the street?
Looked like it was pushed up against the house on the west side of Nottingham.
Did you see it?
Yes.
Did you notice anything about the road or whether the vehicle had come off the road?
I didn't look.
Officer, did your vehicle come off that road and go up on that sidewalk at any point?
No, sir.
Did your vehicle come to a... Any damage to the tires of your vehicle?
No, sir.
Would you show the exhibit, please, again, to the officer, Madam Prosecutor? Officer, how old is that Detroit Police Department vehicle, if you can tell me?
2004.
2004. That vehicle is over 11 years old, right?
Yes.
Doesn't run very well, does it?
No, sir.
What's the maximum speed in that thing, that vehicle?
I couldn't tell you that, sir.
Why weren't you going faster than 50?
50 miles an hour to me in that vehicle is the maximum speed I would travel in it.
You see that front end of that vehicle by that passenger side of that vehicle?
Yes, sir.
You see something there that's along the back side of the passenger side of that vehicle, something dark that looks against that vehicle?
Talk about behind the window?
Underneath, below the window, right behind the front rear passenger. Isn't there something like black that's slick along the baseline on the passenger side of that vehicle?
Yes.
Now those conditions were dry out there that day, weren't they? Wasn't raining or anything, was it?
No, sir.
Take a look at that. What does that look like to you?
Oh, that's mud. Dirt.
Mud. That's what I thought it was. How'd you get mud on your vehicle, officer, without going off the street?
From previous days of patrolling.
Oh, so the mud on the vehicle doesn't come from this incident. It's on the car because you didn't get a car wash.
No, sir.
Why is it still there?
We've ran it through car washes. It does not come off. It has a mix of tar, dirt, just road debris. It does not come off.
Clearly that was on that vehicle before the chase.
Yes.
Okay. You didn't see the red Camaro, the accident itself. You didn't see what happened, did you?
That's correct. I did not.
Officer, tough day for you that day?
Yes.
No further questions.
Nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Officer Foltz, you're excused.
Thank you. People call Joe Fowler.
How many more witnesses do people have?
Judge, I have 2 civilian witnesses. We had a first civilian that was subpoenaed, and he simply decided not to come to court today. So I don't think I necessarily need him, but if we could just get through at least, these two should be quick.
You have 2 civilian witnesses? Okay,
Yes.
you may proceed.
Thank you.
You have a statement. I'd love to see it.
Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth? So help you God? Yes.
May I proceed?
You may, before you do, Mr. Fowler, I'll ask you to please pull the microphone in close to you. And make sure that you speak very loudly and directly into that microphone.
Okay.
Thank you. You now may proceed.
Good afternoon. Could you tell us your name, sir?
Joel Fowler?
Mr. Fowler, I want to direct your attention back to June 24th, 2015. Do you recall that date?
Yes.
And did something happen that brings you here to court to discuss?
Yeah, 2 kids got ran over by the car.
I'm sorry, how do you know that?
I was sitting on my
Judge,
porch.
I didn't hear that last response. And he's speaking real close to the microphone.
You'll have to project your voice still, even though
Okay.
you're speaking very closely. His response was 2 kids were, and I didn't hear the rest.
2 kids were hit by a car,
All right.
a red Camaro.
All right. And let me ask you this. Where were you at when you made those observations?
I was on my porch.
Do you live on Nottingham?
Yes, ma'am.
And approximately how far away from the 2 kids were you when you made these observations?
Maybe 15 feet.
And tell me what it is that you saw.
I saw, first I heard a loud noise, boom, and I stood up and I saw a red Camaro on 2 wheels coming down the street at a high rate of speed. And
Let me stop you there. Now, is your house on the west side of Nottingham or on the east side of Nottingham?
it would be on the west side.
And when you heard this loud boom, were you outside your house or were you inside your house?
I was outside.
And about what time of the day did this happen that you made these observations?
7:30, maybe 7:40, something like that.
And are you on the front porch, in the yard? Where are you?
Front porch.
When you heard this loud boom, in what direction did you look? Did you look toward Warren or did you look toward the
I
other?
look toward Warren because a lot of times you can hear accidents when it's, when it's something going on up there. You can hear cars when they're about to crash or something like that, driving at a high rate.
Would you classify Warren as a busy street?
Yes.
And have you heard accidents happen down there before?
Yes.
And how many houses off of Warren are you?
Maybe 10.
And when you looked in that direction, tell me what it is that you saw.
I saw a red Camaro. It was up on 2 wheels. Somehow it was leaning upward. I don't know. I didn't know at the time why it was, but I found out that it was a rock, a big rock or something lodged up under it. And it was coming at a high rate of speed, and when it got about right to me, the rock kind of like ejected from up under the car, and the car fell down on 4 wheels again, and that's when it struck the children.
Did you see the kids out there that evening before this happened?
Yes.
Where were the kids at when you had last seen them?
They were playing on the sidewalk in front of their own home.
And do you know which house is theirs, which house they belong to?
Yeah, the White House.
Do you know which house it is in terms of, is it the last house on the block?
Yes, going towards Frankfurt.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as 11D. Is this the house there that belongs to them or that they belong to? The last house on the block?
Yeah.
All right, and does this photograph, you said that were they on the sidewalk or in the driveway? Where were they at?
They were like right there at the end of that driveway, right in the middle of the sidewalk.
Like right in this area here?
Yes.
And that's where they were the last time that you had seen them?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know who these children were?
Yes.
Do you remember what their names were?
Michael and Makiah.
Right. And were they playing together when you saw them?
Yes.
Okay, and then you said you heard this loud boom. What happens after you said that the rock gets ejected and the car comes down to onto its 4 wheels, is that right?
Right.
Is the car in the street or is the car someplace else?
The car is right there. The 2 wheels are on the sidewalk, and the other 2 fell down right there. The other 2.
All right, so the car is actually in the middle of the sidewalk?
No. Well,
I'm sorry. This what we see in the middle would be the right.
That's the driver's side of the car.
All right.
And the passenger side is on the grass.
Over here somewhere? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Now, what happens after the car strikes the 2 children? What do you see?
I just really ran towards Frankfurt just to see what had happened to the kid. We didn't know where they were.
And did you ever see the kids out there again?
Yes.
Where did you see, let's start with Makiah. Where was she at?
I seen Makiah. She was somewhere maybe like 4 or 5 houses off of the corner, maybe 4 houses off the corner in the street.
And what about Michael? Where was he?
I couldn't see Michael. I didn't know where he was at that time, but they told me that he was maybe a little bit behind her.
All right, did you see him at that point, or you never saw him out there that night?
I seen him when the officers grabbed him and put him in the car and took him to the hospital.
All right, now in terms of any other vehicles, you said that you saw this red Chevy going down the sidewalk there. Did you ever see any police cars as it relates to this red Chevy?
Yes.
Where was the police car when you saw it?
When I seen it, he was maybe by the alley on Nottingham coming up from Warren.
And how close to the red car was the police officer?
Maybe 5, 6 houses back.
And was the car directly behind the Chevy on the sidewalk?
No, the police was in the street.
Did you ever hear the sirens?
Nope, no sirens, no.
And what about lights? Did you ever see that police car had lights on?
He did have overhead lights on.
Nothing further.
Okay, Mr. Barnett?
So would you state your name, please?
Joel Fowler.
Your Honor, for purposes of the record, could you put that back up,
Yep.
please? Your Honor, may I ask the witness to come down so I can ask him to point out exactly where the tires are in relationship to the driver and the passenger
Yes.
side? Would you come down, sir, and tell us what you think about those tracks? Which one you think's the driver's tires and passenger tires?
These are the driver's tires right here.
For the record, Judge, if nobody minds, I'm just going to circle that.
No
after we have
objection? None? Is that a fair, okay, and that's, we're looking at a sidewalk, right?
Yeah.
And we're looking at something that black's going down that sidewalk, right?
Right.
And you're describing that as what you believe to be the driver's wheels, if you will.
Yes, sir.
of the red Camaro.
Uh-huh.
Looking
Is
for,
that a yes?
yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can you show us anything on that photograph that shows us where there might be marks of the passenger vehicle? Passenger wheels, please forgive me.
Right here.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and circle those in.
And that's sort of right in front of what appears to be the driveway past the berm, correct?
Right.
Okay. Sir, thank you very much.
Nothing further?
No, not
Oh,
true.
I'm sorry. Glad we're done.
Sir, did you actually see the Camaro at any point on the street?
No.
You said something about the vehicle being airborne.
No, I said the vehicle was up on two wheels.
Okay.
On the
On
sidewalk.
the sidewalk.
Yes, sir.
When you first see the vehicle, it's up on two wheels on the sidewalk.
Right.
It is not driving normally, is it?
Nah, I thought it was gonna flip over.
You thought it was going to flip over.
Yeah.
Now, you don't know why it was leaning in that direction, do you?
Not at that time, I didn't.
Okay. But you do see that vehicle now
Yes.
with its wheels, and at some point it comes down.
Right.
What is your name again, sir?
Joel Fowler.
Mr. Fowler, did you actually see that vehicle come in contact with the children?
Yes, sir.
You know these children, had you seen them before?
Yes, sir. See them every day.
Very difficult to look at that.
Yeah, very much so. Right now, it still is. You know, I'm dealing with that every day.
I have to ask you a tough question, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Two children were on that sidewalk and you saw them get struck.
Yes, sir.
And later you saw those children somewhere in the street.
Yes, sir.
Now obviously I presume you assumed that they were hit and somehow landed in that street.
Yes, sir.
Here's my question. Did you see the children after they were hit and how they went from the sidewalk to the street?
I didn't see them get ejected. All I know is that they were hit, and they were somewhere we had to go try to find them.
Did you make a statement to the police?
Yes.
Signed written statement on the 24th at about 10:40 p.m.?
Yes.
Mr. Fowler, were you trying to tell the police the truth as best you could see?
Yes.
Did you tell the police that a car ran over 3 kids that was being chased by a cop car with no sirens?
2 kids. And I did say, yeah, with no siren.
Listen to my question. Did you say a car ran over 3 kids? Did you tell the police that?
No, I said 2 children.
Okay. You sure you didn't say 3?
No, I didn't see 3.
And you didn't say that, did you?
Pardon me?
You didn't say 3 children were run over, did you? 3 kids were run over.
No, that was only 2.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
It's been asked and answered.
Yes, I guess it has been, Your Honor.
It has been
It
sustained.
has.
Next question.
Fine. Okay. I'd like you to take a look at that statement there, sir. Is that your statement? Take a look at it. Is it?
No, he put that down.
Excuse me,
there.
sir. Don't do that.
He
Is that
put
your
that
statement?
down. He
Did
put
you
that
sign
down
that
wrong.
piece of paper?
I did sign it.
Okay,
But he
is that
only
your
hit 2
statement?
kids.
Hold on. My record must remain clear. So at all times, the parties can only talk one person at a time.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Fowler, allow the attorney to ask the question, give the answer to that question, and then
Okay.
wait for the next question, okay? If there's any follow-up, the prosecuting attorney will ask you some follow-up questions. Mr. Barnett, pardon my interruption, you may
No,
continue.
thank you. Did you sign that statement, sir?
Yes, sir.
Is that statement true and accurate?
To the
No
best
words as to the events that you recall that day?
to the best of my knowledge.
Okay, and to the best of your knowledge, what's on that piece of paper is your observations, correct?
No.
Okay, you're saying no. Didn't I ask you 2.5 times if you said that that car ran over 3 kids? Didn't I ask you that?
I told you no.
I know you did. And you told me no twice, didn't you?
And that's what I did.
And then I went to ask you if you were sure about it, and I think I was cut off.
Now
Do you see that right now?
Do I see what?
Do you see there about the 3 kids?
I see it.
What's the question that you were asked and what answer did you give? Read the question and the answer, please.
He's supposed to put 2 on here.
Would you read the question
It
and read
it
the
says,
answer?
what
please?
happened earlier?
Read it.
A car ran over 3 kids that was being chased by a cop car with no siren.
Thank you, sir. May I have that, please?
Yes, sir.
You tell me how sure you are about the 2 kids now. The police wrote it wrong, didn't they?
That's what he did.
Okay. No, you told the police 2 kids got run over.
Yes,
and the
sir.
police, let me finish my question. You told the police that 2 kids were run over, and you told them the truth, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the police wrote 3 kids, correct?
Yes, sir. That's what's on there.
I know what's on there. And what's on there is not true, is it?
No, I guess not.
Don't be guessing about it. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Are you guessing
no,
or not?
No.
So if you know there was 2 kids that were hit, correct?
Yes, sir.
You know it wasn't 3, don't you?
Yes, sir.
So I'm asking you, this statement, a car ran over 3 kids, that's not true, is it?
No.
You know it's not true, don't you?
Yes, I've seen it now.
Now, did the police give you an opportunity to read this statement?
Yes.
Then why didn't you tell them, look, I didn't see that, I didn't say this here. I didn't put 3 kids. Why didn't you tell them to correct?
I didn't see that part. Just real, up close and personal.
Certainly now that you've seen it up close and personal,
Right.
if you had seen that word, a car ran over 3 kids, you would have corrected it then, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir.
As you would correct it now, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You testified that you saw a police vehicle, what did you say, about 3 or 4 houses?
Maybe 5 houses down.
Okay. Now, those are those long, Detroit, how long have you been in Detroit?
All my life.
You know long streets and short streets, and west side, east side?
Mm-hmm.
Long street,
Yes.
short street.
Yes.
Was this a long street or short street?
It's a regular block on the east side of Detroit.
4 houses on a block. That's not half a block, is it?
No.
That's not a block and a half, is it?
No.
Wouldn't you say that that police car was, are you familiar with estimations in feet and things like that?
Somewhat.
Take a look around here and maybe look out that window or something and tell us about how far, if you're the front of that police car, how close was that police car to this red Camaro? Give us an approximation of anything that you can see. Or look in the courtroom or anything like that. An approximation.
Maybe to where that crane is over there?
Okay, you see that building right there in front of you, that jail there?
Mm-hmm.
About that
Yes.
distance?
Yes.
We need yes or no, sir.
Yes.
About that distance? A little bit further?
A little bit further where
Thank you,
that
sir.
crane is over there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's about the distance.
Madam Prosecutor?
I have no idea, maybe.
Oh,
You tell me. What's your best guess?
13 inches.
I would say closer to 100, 200 feet.
Agreed. Sir? 100 feet?
I said to 200.
200 feet? About half a football field, maybe? Or less?
Less than that.
Less than half a football field.
Yeah.
You ever been to a football game?
Yeah.
Know what the 50-yard line looks like?
Yes.
That police car was closer than 50 yards away, wasn't it?
Nah, I just said about 5 or 6 houses back. I don't know what the feet are of those. You got to do that measurement.
How about
yourself.
less than half of a football field is what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Very well,
I
sir.
couldn't tell you.
Now, sir, you ran to the aid of the children, right?
Yes.
Okay. You told the police that, you told the police that the vehicle was being chased. A vehicle was being chased, correct?
Yes.
And the vehicle that you thought was being chased was a red Camaro.
Yes.
And that's the vehicle you saw that ran into those children.
Yes.
Without putting words in your mouth, you saw a police vehicle with the lights on, right?
Yes.
You heard no siren though, right?
No.
But you came to the conclusion, based on your impression, that that Camaro was being chased.
Yes.
That's what you believe to be true.
Yes, sir.
And that's what you told the police.
Yes.
No further questions.
Nothing further.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler. You are excused. Deputies will give you directions on how to leave the courtroom.
I have one more quick witness, Judge. May I call him?
Yes, please do.
People will call Aubrey Gardner. Judge, could you just ask the court reporters not to film the next witness's face? I know that I usually ask that it be, we don't do that because the homicide exam, this particular witness is requested that I ask. So could you order that?
Mr.
I have,
Barnett?
she's asking that his face not be photographed.
Right.
It does not affect my client. My client has a right to confrontation. No objection to his dog.
Okay, thank you. Then I'm going to direct the media. Please make sure, you might hold off on your witness until I direct the media.
Oh, well.
Please make sure that you're not videoing the next witness's face. No silhouettes. Nothing dealing from the shoulder up. Thank you. Your name?
Aubrey Gardner.
Sir, can you stand in, please, and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You may proceed.
Good afternoon. Could you tell us your name, please?
Aubrey Gardner.
Mr. Gardner, I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up nice and loud, okay?
Pull the microphone in as well, Mr. Gardner. Speak directly into that microphone.
Right.
I'm going to
Try to
direct,
pull it in a little bit closer.
Better?
Thank you.
Mr. Gardner, I want to direct your attention back to June 24th, 2015. Were you on Nottingham Street that evening?
Yes.
And approximately 7:30, 7:45 up until 8 o'clock that evening, where were you?
In my driveway barbecue.
All right, and is that 5245?
Yes.
And what, if anything, happened on that day that brings you here today?
Well, when you say what everything?
Tell me what you first saw.
Nothing really. I was barbecuing and I heard sirens and an engine revving real loud.
Let me stop you there. You said that you first heard sirens, is that right?
Yes, sirens.
And was that police sirens?
Yes.
And then you said that you heard an engine revving real loud.
Yes.
Okay, what happens then?
I turn around. I look back. I see the kids in the front.
What kids are we talking about? What are their names?
Well, Zaire, Darius, Xavier, and a few other kids.
Okay. And where was Zaire when you last saw him that evening?
Between the van and my house.
Did you have a vehicle parked in your driveway?
Yes, it was a van.
All right, and what kind of a van was it?
A Uplander.
And is that your vehicle or someone that's associated with your house's vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And what happens then?
I'm on my way up to the front because I hear the kids hollering and screaming. The rest of the kids out in the front. And so I'm on my way to the front and I hear
And for the record, you're making like a noise with your...
From the engine, yes.
All right.
And I hear the sirens, and then I'm on my way up to the front now because I'm weary.
Now, when you say that you're on your way up to the front, are you speaking about coming from the
Barbecue
driveway
grill.
toward the front of the street?
Yeah, the barbecue grill to the front of the house.
Okay, what happens then?
I see the porch just shattered, the porch steps next door to the house.
Okay, now that house next door, would that be a house closer to Frankfurt?
Yes.
Okay, you said that there was a porch that was associated with that house?
Yes, the stairs.
And what happened with those stairs that you saw?
They went flying
And where did they go flying at?
in the air.
All right, what happens then?
Then the red Camaro hits the car. Hits our Uplander in the driveway. And as I'm looking at it, I see it. It jumps in the air, then it comes down. It pins my son and my nephew against the house.
Now, your son, is that Zaire?
Yes.
And then your nephew would have been who?
Darius.
All right. And you said that Darius and Zaire were between the van and your house?
Yes.
Okay. What happens then?
I see the defendant jump out the car and run.
I'm sorry, you said that you saw the defendant jump out of the car, is that right?
Yes.
Are you indicating, for the record, can you tell me what color that person is wearing?
Now?
Right now.
Yellow.
May the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
Mr. Barnett, any objection?
That's for some foundation, huh?
But, Counsel?
Well,
Well, he only said yellow. Can we at least establish where I do see a couple of other yellow.
Sir.
No, I know he's wearing yellow, and this is the defendant. I'd ask for some foundation as to his observations.
Well, he just testified that he saw the defendant get out of the car. That's your objection, then it's overruled.
Very well, Judge.
So I'll allow the record to reflect that he's identified the defendant. You
Thank
may
you.
continue.
Where did you see the defendant get out of the vehicle?
In my front yard.
All right, where was that vehicle parked?
Once it hit the van, it spun around and literally parked itself on the grass.
And could you tell where the defendant got out of that vehicle at?
Right there in the front yard.
I'm sorry, from the vehicle. Where from the vehicle did he get out?
The driver's side.
All right. And what did he do once he got out of the vehicle?
He ran
Where did he run?
past me.
And do you have a fence in your backyard?
Behind my garage, there's no fence.
And was there anybody else in that vehicle?
Another light-skinned gentleman.
All right. And did that person do anything?
No, he stayed in the car.
Did he say anything to you?
Well, out of the anger, I said something to him, and he said, "I don't know what that dude into."
Objection, Your Honor. If he's going to talk about what somebody in that vehicle said, I would object to his being hearsay. I'll wait for an objection or exception from the people.
Certainly, I believe it would qualify as an excited utterance. I mean, based on the testimony that we've had in regards to what this vehicle had been doing in the seconds prior to crashing, I think that certainly qualifies as an excited utterance.
How does it qualify as an excited utterance in response to a question that this person, a complete stranger, is asking him? It is not.
It wasn't a question that was asked. That's not what I heard. He
I
said
thought-
that he said something out of anger to the person in the car, and then the person responded to or said something.
Right.
Yes, and that response would not be hearsay because it would be an excited
And I'm
utterance.
going to
don't
allow
know
it as
what to do.
I'm going to allow it as an exception, given the testimony about hearing engines revving, porch shattering.